it appears that the test length append is the location or the test that is causing the infinite loop, and then specifically at a method call called append. So in the linked list test file, it's on the test length append, and then from there it's calling a .append method in the linked list file, and that appears to be causing the infinite loop. The only local variable appears to be n, which is equal to some instance of a node inside the linked list class. If we go up to the linked list test file, where it's calling test length append, the local variable there is L, which appears to be an instance of a linked list. We're going to go back down to the append because that's where the infinite loop's going down or happening, and then we're going to step through it to try to find where the repeating code is. So we already got back to 6. So it goes from 6, 7, 8, 9, 42, then 40, 41, 42, and then it goes back to 6, 7, 8, 9, 42. The problem appears to be we have a six, 7, 8, 9 are initiating a node. You can see this because it's creating the node here. It's assigning the value, and it's also assigning the next. So in 6, 7, 8, 9, we're creating a new node object. And then in 42, 40, 41, and then 42 again, this is where it appears to loop. We have n, our local variable, which we saw earlier, is pointing to, not that early. Over here, we saw it points to a node. So we have n pointing to a node, and it's assigned to a new node. And then while the n is not null, it's moved on to its next node, and then that next is then assigned to a new node again. So the problem appears to be that, because if we step one more time, okay, so it goes through this initiating the new node, and then we're back at 42, because what's happening is in 40, it's going to check if the next is not equal to null. Then in 41, it has it assigns it to its next one over, which is not going to be null because that's what the while loop condition is. And then it's going to assign its next to a new node. What this means, and then 6, 7, 8, 9 are the creation of that new node. What that means is that n.next will never be null because inside this loop, n.next is assigned to a new node every time. So there's always going to be another node, and it's not going to be null ever, and thus there's the infinite loop. So we know append is where our issue was coming up, and it was 40, 41, and 42, which is right here. And we can see here that this is where the n.next is being assigned to a new node value. And since that's in the loop, it's just going to go on forever. So we're going to want to move this outside of the while loop. And what this does is this while loop will move n to as far down the linked list as it has a next. So until it gets to a node that doesn't have a next, which means that it's at the very end of the list. And then after we are at that end of the list, we are going to assign the next pointer of the last node in the current list to a new value, which is going to be the value that was passed up. And it's going to have a null pointer as its next, because it's now this node is going to be the end of the linked list. So we're going to escape, save, and now we're going to run make test one more time to see if everything works. And that's a pass on all the tests. Thank you for your time.